The hero roughly throws off the girl's hand from him, noting that she is not to his taste, and he would have coped with the enemy without her help. Inwardly, Chu King thinks that not one adequate guy will want to be the 36th of a girl. Yi Chengxi shows doubts about the other party's words. In her opinion, a man with a weak and small body would not be able to defeat Chu. The guy sees that the representative of the fair sex does not believe him, so he dirty provokes her by asking why she dares to compare him with him. These words make his sister seriously scared. The brunette starts to get angry. Her mood drops below the baseboard. Xu Zio grabs her brother's arm, trying to reason with him, because she doesn't think it's right to compare herself to a strong woman like Yi Chengxi at all. The owner of the establishment reads out her thoughts aloud about how they would check it out. The brunette also offers arm wrestling. He sets simple conditions under which his victory will mean freedom. That is, the girl will never bother him again. The interlocutor still doubts that the interlocutor is serious, so she clarifies whether he really wants to fight her. She also re-emphasizes the fact that the guy is a man. The hero again provokes the interlocutor with a question about whether she is really afraid. These words make the brunette laugh. Yi Chengxi declares that there is nothing in the world that she is afraid to do. When she calms down, she decides to set her own terms. If she wins, she wants the hero to become her boyfriend. Chu King steps forward, agreeing to these conditions. The guy together with the hostess of the establishment sit down at the table. They carefully look at each other, assessing the strength of the enemy. At the same time, a little further away from them, 4 representatives of the fair sex begin to talk about this situation. A girl with purple hair notices that there is no point in this little boy fighting with their sister. The blonde also notices that if she was the younger sister of this handsome man, she would eat him whole. The blue-haired girl says that men are made of water and women are made of iron, so this boy will definitely lose to Sister Yi. The hero, hearing such negotiations, is once again convinced that women in this world are really very strong and look down on men. A guy and a girl cross their arms as they prepare for an arm wrestling match. Yi Chengxi also says that he will make the opponent feel the gap between men and women, which is like the gap between heaven and earth. The hero doesn't respond to this. After that, the start of the match is announced. Chu King feels that he can't win from the first jump. He is once again convinced that women in this world are really unusual. He admits that the woman is quite strong. However, he makes a reservation to himself that he is not an ordinary person at all. Becoming serious for a few moments, the guy concentrates a decent amount of energy in his hand. After that, he easily overpowers Yi Chengxi, who is astonished by this development. Chapter 8. Chu King stands up from his seat, stating that he won, so the girl should not forget about their deal. The guy grabs his sister by the wrist and guides her to the exit. Others are amazed at this development of events. Someone notices that the sister was fascinated by this boy. Another says that it's all about the older sister, who did not resist at all. The third does not understand whether a person can have such power. Other 2 representatives of the fair sex suggest that it was the hand of the legendary unicorn. Well, the latter believes that his strength lies in the fact that he does not have a girlfriend. At the same time, the hostess is very angry. What had happened had thrown her off balance. An evil aura starts flying around her, causing the crowd to quiet down. One of the bodyguards approaches the lady, asking if the boy should be tied up. Yi Chengxi slaps her hard across the face, telling her to shut up because she believes that I haven't lost yet. The hostess gets up from her seat and starts talking to the departing hero. She claims that he surprised her, but he should not forget that a small boy like him, it is better to hold on to their strong female wings. The girl claims that her offer is still valid, but as long as he agrees, then he is her boyfriend. In that case, she assures that no one in Jinmen will dare to touch him in the future. Chu King doesn't understand why she thinks that a man should cling to women. In his opinion, men have their own hands and feet, and they can create their own future on their own. One of the girls who heard this thinks this guy is not right in the head. Yi Chengxi notes that from ancient times to the present, men have been oppressed by women, and women are the pillars of peace, and it is women who control the change and development of society, bearing responsibility for all its ups and downs. The hostess notices that even small children know such things. A strong representative of the fair sex declares that there are extraordinary men in the world, but women who bring more benefits are more useful to society. And even there are very few literary heroes in their entire history, so she believes that there is no benefit from such as Chu King. These words hurt the hero a little. He can't just leave anymore, so he goes back to the arenas, asking what's the big deal. Chu King also claims that all he knows is that a person is constantly striving for development, so he does not understand why men do not bring Wu Gu to Su under the 50 rules of Guanxia. According to the guy, a man is to lie on the lap of a beautiful girl, and then get up and kill the human rights. After that, he and his sister leave the bar. The bodyguard tries to appeal to his mistress, but the latter finds what is happening surprising, because it finally dawns on her that a rebel like him is perfect for her, so she declares that she will not let him escape. Then another bodyguard reminds her that due to the reception of guests, she was asked to return early. Yi Chengxi interrupts the subordinate, noting that she only went out to play for a couple of days, so she can't come back. After that, she chastises the bodyguard for calling her mistress, which is wrong since the girl's sister is still alive. While the brother and sister go home together, the girl decides to clarify whether the brother will tell her parents about what happened. The hero replies that he will have to do it, because if he was not there, then she would not be able to get out of there in one piece, and her parents will worry. Chu Zio is angry because he thinks that her brother is planning to threaten her with this. After a while, the sister decides to share her thoughts with her brother. She wonders when her brother has become so strong, and if Yi Chengxi can marry him in the future. The girl notices that she was the heiress of a family that inherited power in the underworld of Jinmen. So if her brother marries her, then she will help his sister, and she is only a few years older than him. The aura around the hero changes. He rudely tells his sister to shut up, threatening to send her back to the bar if she says another word. Brother and sister return home. Chu Qin sits down to meditate, noting that he wants to reach his previous cultivation level faster, but his current strength is still insufficient, and right now, he can only hear and see clearly because his 5 senses are sharpened. The hero decides to use his abilities. He looks in on his sister, who is still awake. The same one aloud asks her younger brother to take off his pants faster, because she is very impatient. This gives the guy a mental slap on the back of the head, so he immediately interrupts the workout. He points out that this Chu Zio is worse than his sister in the original world. Morning comes, and the hero goes to Jinmen High School. Chu King walks down the street and hears someone calling his name. He turns around and Deet sees a chubby kid approaching. He already assumes that this is his best friend Lin Dong. Chapter 9. The boy runs up to the hero and grabs his hands, anxiously asks what he did yesterday, and why he did not answer his calls. Chu King quickly pulls out his hands. The interlocutor does not understand what is wrong with a friend, noticing that he is behaving strangely. The hero nervously claims that everything is in order, but he himself is normal. He waves to his friend, telling him that he has to go. Chu King quickly steps forward, noting to himself that this sissy isn't his best friend at all. The guy stands still, looking after the other person with incomprehension. The hero enters his class. In it, everything is arranged in reverse. Girls play ball, and guys communicate with each other, carefully watching their appearance. Some of them even clean the board. Chu King, on the other hand, puts his head down on his desk, silently declaring that because of this world, he wants to go blind more and more so that he can't see more of it. Then a thin hand gently wakes the guy up, poking him in the shoulder. The hero raises his head and sees the girl. It's Song Kaorin, the class leader, who greets Chu King, asking if he's not feeling well. The guy takes a sitting position, saying that everything is fine with him and he just did not have time to eat breakfast, so now he is a little hungry. Song Kaorin claims that she has a bun, so if the other person wants to eat, they can eat it. A representative of the fair sex also states that college entrance exams are coming up soon, so the guy needs to take care of his health. From the whole appearance of the interlocutor, it is clear that she is very nervous. Then someone notices this unusual situation from the outside. The unknown woman doesn't understand how Song Kaorin had the guts to talk to the school's handsome boy. A masculine girl intervenes in communication between the hero and the prefect. She throws the girl aside, putting her hand on Chu King's shoulder and asking if he read her love letter yesterday. This situation pisses the hero off. He sends a manly woman in the opposite direction with one powerful blow. Along the way, she demolishes a bunch of desks and chairs. The woman gets to her feet. She is furious at what is happening, because, in her opinion, a man does not dare to do this to her. The uninvited guest clenches her fist and is about to hit the guy, saying that it's time for him to feel pain. Chu King doesn't move as he prepares to take the blow. He behaves calmly and confidently, but a third person intervenes in the fight. Someone calls for the brawlers to stop. This person turns out to be a guy. He has short black hair, bright eyes. He is wearing a black shirt, blue tie, and white jacket. This is Yimao, Yi Chengxi's brother. Boy Baba, on the other hand, is surprised to see such a significant person in their class, so she rushes to find out what he is doing here. Yimao also orders the girls to get out of his sight while he is still kind. The same one runs away, shouting that if it wasn't for his sister Yi Chengxi, she wouldn't care. The guy approaches the hero, noting that there is something he wants to talk to him about. They go to the balcony, where no one can disturb them. Yimao says that he really regrets what happened yesterday. He goes on to explain that he had heard that the other person had been captured by his sister, so he tried to find him, but lost track of him. It turns out that Yi Chengxi gave the hero a ride home yesterday so that he could return to Yimao later. She was fulfilling her brother's request. When they were alone, Yi Chengxi gave the guy a bottle of liquid, noting that there were no other drinks in the car. Chu King took and drank the contents of this container. The guy admits that he is very sorry, but if he knew this was going to happen, he wouldn't have asked his sister to drive him. The hero puts his hand on the other person's shoulder, assuring him that everything is fine and that he shouldn't think about it, because Chu King doesn't blame him for it. After that, they return to the lesson. The rest of the day passes uneventfully. In the late afternoon, the hero leaves the school. Chu King walks home on the street. Next to it, stop abruptly. Car. The window opens. Behind the wheel is Yi Chengxi, who orders him to get in the car. The guy also clarifies why he should do this. He doesn't understand why this girl still bothers him. The hostess of the restaurant invites the interlocutor to think about his family. She smiles slyly, saying that he should understand what she means. The guy gets serious. Chapter 10. The hero gets into the car in the front seat. The girl also notices that her passionate boy is really good. Chu King also emphasizes that the interlocutor made a mistake today. He notices that she might have just visited him, but it's not worth threatening him or his family. A representative of the fair sex hints to the guy that her words are not a threat at all. Chu King also points out that whether it's a threat or not, she shouldn't mention it in the future. As a sign of the seriousness of his intentions, he touches a crystal suspended in the middle of the car with his finger and easily breaks it with a touch. This phenomenon puts into a stupor a girl who is not ready for something like this. The fragments have not yet had time to fall to the floor. As the hero puts pressure on the interlocutor, he touches her chin with his hand, looking her straight in the eye and telling her that she must understand the consequences if she dares to threaten him. Yi Chengxi, realizing that the guy is not joking at all, notices that there was no threat in her words, but she just wanted to help his sister and mother because she knows that his mother had problems recently. Chu King also decides to clarify how this concerns the girl herself and whether she feels sorry for him. The head of the bar claims that this was not in her thoughts, because the interlocutor is now connected with the criminal world. She expresses her desire to pursue a guy in the open. Yi Chengxi suggests that they become friends first, and then she can help his family's business. After hearing a sufficiently sincere speech, the hero returns to his place, deciding that first they will become friends. Chu King stresses that he approves of her intentions, but warns her not to joke with him again. After that, he asks her to hurry up. The girl presses the gas pedal, fulfilling the request of the guy. Inwardly, she marvels at him. Yi Chengxi notes that there is something else she would like to ask the guy. With these words, she gets his attention. She asks him directly if he practices ancient martial arts. Chu King also doesn't understand what is being said, claiming that men in this world can't cultivate. The interlocutor emphasizes that she knows that he lied to her, because his strength is not like that of other men. So she found out information about him and the situation in his family, but apparently, his family has nothing to do with martial arts. Yi Chengxi notices that if the other person doesn't want to talk, then she won't insist. She also assumes that this is his personal secret. The brunette's silence is the answer. It does not show that the other person has hit the nail on the head. Then Chu King sees the danger. A huge truck is rushing towards them. The guy only manages to warn the girl about the danger. The truck knocks down a car, which flies up into the air from the impact. After making several somersaults, it stops in such a way that the car is standing on the roof. Yi Chengxi reaches up, asking if the guy is okay. It is clear that she herself is very bad right now. Her vision is blurry, and she seems to be reaching for the light. Chu King appears in front of the girl. The same one notices that he is injured. Indeed, the guy has a lot of abrasions, bruises, and cuts on his body, but he easily picks up the fair sex with one hand, and with the other knocks down the car door, saying that you can talk later, because first you need to get out. Holding Yi Chengxi in his arms, the guy jumps out of the car. She also notices that he has serious injuries, so they urgently need to go to the hospital. The hero notices that this is only the beginning of their problems, so it's too early to go to the hospital. A guy and a girl look at a pile of smoke raised from the accident. First, several shadows appear, and then their owners appear. They are 4 girls who have at least some weapons in their hands. Chapter 11. Yi Chengxi steps forward, blocking out the hero. She doesn't understand how they dared to attack and hurt her boyfriend. For this, the girl is ready to kill them all. The girls pounce on her. One of them is holding a wooden bat. The other has 2 glass bottles. The third has a huge cleaver, and the fourth has an iron stick. The hostess of the restaurant throws the first opponent with a powerful blow to the side. One of the girls goes to the hero. She has sharp cleavers in her hands, with which she is going to chop the guy. Chu King gathers his strength, realizing that he seems to be underestimated again. With a powerful straight punch to the stomach, he knocks out all the spirit from the opponent. Her weapon flies out of her hand. The attacker falls to the asphalt, and the guy turns his gaze to the remaining ones. Yi Chengxi is actively fighting 4 opponents at once. The hero also grabs the cleaver of the defeated enemy in his hands. He takes off at an unthinkable speed in the direction of the fight. In a couple of moves, he takes down 2 girls at once, knocking them down. The 2 remaining representatives of the fair sex are amazed at what they see. They clearly weren't prepared for something like this. Yi Chengxi takes advantage of the enemy's confusion. Concentrating her strength in both hands, she sends the girls to the side with powerful blows of her palms. After that, she pathetically shakes off her hands. The girl notices that the guy also did a good job. Chu King insists that these are small things, and stresses that he will leave the rest to her. At the same time, the hero throws the weapon out of his hands. The hostess of the establishment says that to ask someone to take care of this problem. She also points out that if it wasn't for the guy, she'd be in a lot of trouble, so she wonders if he's really just an ordinary high school student. The hero again repeats that these are small things. He also notices that it's too late now, so his father will probably be worried. For this reason, he suggests rescheduling their lunch for another day. Then the phone starts ringing in her jacket. She immediately picks up the phone, asking what happened. The voice of the startled girl attracts the hero's attention. He wonders what happened, but then Chu King points out that it doesn't matter what happened, because it has nothing to do with him, and their family matters are not something that a high school student like him can decide. Yi Chengxi abruptly grabs the hero's elbow, forcing him to stop. A suppressed aura is flying around her. She says that her mother is seriously injured, and that she was attacked by a killer. Now she was rescued and taken home. Tears welled up in the girl's eyes. Chu King also notes that she and her mother were attacked at the same time, so it is not accidental. Thus, the guy comes to the obvious conclusion that big changes are coming in the criminal world of Jinmen. Chapter 12. Yi Chengxi says that if her mother falls, then her aunt will become the head of the family, and then she will definitely be kicked out of the family. The girl is so depressed that she even asks what to do. Chu King puts his hands on her shoulders, telling her to calm down and not cry, for he will go with her. The hero notes that now the state of her family depends only on her, so she must keep herself in hand. He also claims that even if there is nothing else he can do to help her, he wants to at least comfort her. At this point, the interlocutor is surprised to realize that she feels that she can trust his feelings. She stretches her arms out to him, and then without any hesitation hugs him to recover. At this point, she feels that all the anxiety goes into the background, and inside there is calm and confidence. Night falls when the guy and the girl get to the house of the Yi family. They are met by one of the bodyguards, who is glad to see her mistress back. Yi Chengxi gets straight to the point, asking how things are going at home. The subordinate replies that everything is very bad, because she can't enter. It turns out that Ime said that until Yi Chengxi arrives, no one else is allowed to enter. These words anger a girl who doesn't understand how to. This woman dares to do this. Chu King decides to clarify who Ime is. Yi Chengxi says that this is her third aunt. The girl's mother often told her that all the time in their family, Ime always made attempts to collude with other big families. But since her mother didn't have sound evidence, there was nothing she could do. The girl admits that she did not expect that this time she would make the first move. After that, a representative of the fair sex begins to go to the house, calling for the hero. 2 security guards block the couple's way into the house. One of them emphasizes that this guy can't get in. Yi Chengxi is angry, not understanding how the girl dared to stop her people. The hero finds a way out of the situation. He says that he is a doctor and has come to treat Ms. Yi. In his mind, he remembers that in the fairy tale world, he studied medicine, and now it may be useful for him. Girls mock him, not understanding when a man can be a doctor. Chu King puts everything in order. He immediately names all the girls' illnesses. One has had a reproductive system disorder for many years, and the other's kidneys are in poor condition. The hero suggests that this may be due to prolonged training in martial arts. The girl tries to apply traditional Chinese medicine, but the effect is almost non-existent. Both guards look at each other, realizing that the guy is not so simple. They move apart at the same time, inviting the couple to come inside. Someone is already waiting for them outside the gate. 2 girls who look alike meet the hero and Yi Chengxi. One of them is Yume, and the other is Ymer. The first one shows an assumed joy that the girl returned home on time. She also notes that if she hadn't, anything could have happened. Yi Chengxi demands to be taken to her mother because she wants to see her. Yime also emphasizes that the interlocutor is rude to her, because when it comes to seniority, she should call her third aunt. The woman goes on to say that the man is banned from entering the Yi family, so she can't bring this strange guy home. Yi Chengxi responds by saying that this guy is the doctor she called, so she asks to let them pass. Yime is not happy with this state of affairs. She doesn't believe that this man can be a doctor. Moreover, the woman assumes that he is just a savage, whom she picked up after several days of absence. Seeing the unwavering look in the girl's eyes, third aunt decides to set a condition. She says that if a guy wants to enter and become a man of their family, then he must have at least some abilities. Otherwise, he will not be able to enter this house. After that, Yime turns to her daughter, asking her to check out how great the skills of the boy that this little lady brought are. Ymer accepts his mother's words by stepping forward. Chapter 13. As Mayor slowly approaches the couple, Mei realizes that Yi Chengxi won't be able to stand by if the guy gets killed, and if she tries to protect him, she will break the rules of the Yi family and then no one will be able to protect her, not even her own mother. Mayor wants the guy to promise to fulfill one of her conditions if he loses. The hero with a venomous smile asks what this condition is. Mayor also notes that if she wins, he will stay with her for one night. Yi Chengxi can't stand by after something like this. She thinks the girl is going too far. Chu King grabs Yi Chengxi's hand, calming her down with just one look. It makes its promise, encouraging you to start. At this point, he feels the danger. The opponent's leg is already rushing towards him at breakneck speed. The hero calmly blocks the blow, perfectly aware that she spoke so as to distract him. After that, he quickly strikes back at the girl's stomach. Mayor is thrown out of the way by the guy's powerful punch. This comes as a shock to Mei, who clearly wasn't prepared for this. Chu King asks if she still wants to sleep with him. Third aunt lifts her daughter to the ground. Aji, noting that what is happening is simply outrageous. She believes that Yi Chengxi brought a real savage to their house. The girl shuts up the woman, saying that if they do not provoke him, he will not touch them. Chu King tells the woman to hurry up and get her daughter to the hospital, because he can't guarantee whether there are internal injuries or not. Yi Mei insults the guy, saying that he is too cruel, so she will repay him twice as much. The couple no longer pays attention to them, going into the house. A blonde woman in glasses and a formal suit is waiting for them in the hallway of the house. Yi Chengxi recognizes her as second aunt. The woman sincerely rejoices at the appearance of the girl and hugs her. Yi Chengxi is in a hurry to find out where her mother is. The interviewee says that her mother is fine, but the injury is too serious, so they can only help her for a while. The hero chimes in, noting that if it's such a serious injury, it can't be delayed, so they should go check it out, because there's a chance that he can help. The second aunt decides to find out what kind of guy came with her. Chu King asks you to trust him. Yi Chengxi then reveals that the guy is a friend of hers who was able to help her during the recent attack. She also notices that he is a doctor. After that, the blonde decides to skip them. Yi Chengxi sees her mother lying in bed and immediately jumps on her with a hug, asking if she's okay. The woman rejoices at the return of her daughter, but she also notices the appearance of a guy, which is why she rushes to find out who he is. The hero explains that he is a doctor, and that Yi Chengxi assigned him to treat her, so he asks her to show the injuries on her body. Mentally, the guy wonders what's going on. When he saw Yi Chengxi's mother, he also thought of his parents. Instead of being here, he should have been home by now. He has no idea how to explain his disappearance to mom and dad. Chu King also realizes that he has completely forgotten that it is not safe for a man to go out at night in this strange world. These words will only make a woman laugh. She politely says that the other person will not be able to help with her injury, so she asks second aunt to accompany him to the guest room, emphasizing the fact that she still has her own things to do. The blonde asks the guy to follow him, but at this moment his aura changes. Chapter 14. Yi Chengxi stands up for the hero. He asks his mother to let him see her, because he is a good person, and if it wasn't for him, she might have suffered today too. The woman is surprised by these words. She notes that this is the first time she sees her daughter have a high opinion of a man, so she decides to find out what's so special about him. Then Chu King chimes in. He notices that if he understood correctly, someone attacked her and hit her right in the left shoulder with a poisonous palm. The hero makes it clear that this technique is very dangerous, and because of this, the victim must use most of his strength to resist the spread of this energy. And the female body itself is very weak, because most of the energy is unstable. These words strike the interlocutor to the depths of her soul. She asks her daughter and second aunt to leave them, because she wants to talk to this child alone. Second aunt takes Yi Chengxi's hand and leads her away before she has time to recover. When they are alone, the woman asks if the guy was sent by the Li family, and what are his intentions for her daughter. At the same time, she tries to put pressure on him with her aura. The hero replies that he is not from the Li family. After that, he emphasizes that if a woman has questions, then she should ask her daughter for what purpose he was brought. He also points out that if he hadn't saved her daughter at the time of the accident, she would be dead right now. The woman, not seeing a lie in the guy's eyes, decides to trust him and show her wound. She strips off her outer clothing, exposing her torso and warning him that if he dares to do anything to her daughter, she will cut off his head. Chu King isn't listening to her. His nose is bleeding from the sight of the beautiful pineapples of the interlocutor.